I'm so over technology, it's not even funny. I know. First world problems. I get it. Okay, I totally did a whole podcast slash vlog thing yesterday and on a different camera, and that just did not work. So this is like my second or third time trying to do this. Okay, so first world problems, right? I've got this phone that I'm recording on, and I don't know how long this battery is going to last because the battery is at like 51%, like the actual battery. And so I never know when it's going to cut off, and it's a pain in the butt to get it back up. So I think I'm going to go and try to buy a battery. In the meantime, I actually have a new phone with a camera, but I can't actually like get all the pieces together in a vlog to make one cohesive thing to actually upload. And because there's no SIM card in it, I can't get an editor on there because it won't upload. Try to get something on the desktop, it goes to a different desktop because my computer for some reason doesn't want to do anything. Like everything goes to another computer. You know, yeah, first world problems, but if you're gonna have the technology, can it at least work? You know, I'm kind of getting tired of having to do 10 workarounds just to do one thing. Can anybody relate at all? Alright, so while I've got, however long I've got, this is going to be really rough. I apologize. It is what it is. So since I've been talking about this bingo along, let me try to, it's the best I can do with the lighting, sorry. So this is the sheets for the Wet Coast Wool bingo along, and as you can see, I've already filled out some of my things that I've done. And then here is just like if you want to write it out. And I did this wrong, so I'm gonna have to reprint this. So that's why I wrote what I did, what it was for, the dates, all that, so that when I reprint this, I can just rewrite it. And on my project page, every single thing that I make for this, I also take a picture just to kind of prove that I did it, you know. So that being said, I don't remember if I showed the Bambara wrap last time. So I have it here. Oh, okay. I got a thing for Ambah O'Brien. Assana wrap. Bambara wrap. So this thing, the original yarn is fingering weight, and I did this in DK. And the inches are the same, but because it's DK, I had to take away a couple of repeats. And then I left the length, as far as the pattern is concerned, the same. Which way did it start? It started this way. But obviously it's longer because it's in DK, and I didn't really measure it, so I have no idea. But I start off with this purple color and this variegated blue and yellow. This is for the category special yarn. It's special yarn because two of the colors that are in here are from somebody who doesn't dye yarn anymore. Her name was Redhead Fibers. So this yellowish blue part here is called Forget Me Not, and this purple one here is called Autumn Sunset. And you'll see more of this later because as we transition, it goes into this blue lace section, which is my own hand dyed. That's Larkspur, and it's a medium dark blue with undertones of lilac. And then it transitions back to the Forget Me Not, and then into this green lace section, which is my Grassy Meadow, and actually it's bluer here than what I actually sell in the shop. I only use, like, my hand dye that I use are all the rejects, because I'm not going to sell it if it's a reject, so I just use it. So this has a little bit more blue than what's in my Grassy Meadow in the shop, but that's what that is. And then it transitions again from the Forget Me Not to the Autumn Sunset, which is that color that we started at the beginning. And it's purples and golds and a little bit of dark pink in there. And then it just finishes back off with the forget-me-not, and I did some larkspur. Super long, super pretty. It's like my favorite scarf I think I've made so far. I even made a stupid little video that I stuck on my Facebook page. I didn't put it on my business page. Maybe I should have. I think I deleted it now. I don't know. So there's that. The second thing that I made, and I will insert a clip as soon as I can, is the Diamonds and Pearls shawl by Emilie Bjorna, and she is the host of the Arctic Knitting podcast. And this pattern came out shortly after Prince died, which is why it's called Diamond and Pearls. So it's under the category New to You Designer, because I've never knitted any of her patterns before. And the colors for that, probably, you know what I'll do? I think when I show it, I'll point it out. It's Mystic Zeon, which is a black and cobalt blue, and it's another one of my rejects. And it's mostly because it has less blue and more black, and the ones that I have in the shop are more of a 50-50 balance. And then it's the rest of the forget-me-not. That was this color. And then I'm working on a crochet blanket and the Houston Astro colors. Not a fan. It's actually for somebody, but I'm using it as a category on the knit along for crochet an item because that counts. So that's this, and it's granny square, and I need to finish this off with double crochet rows all the way around, maybe like 4 or 5 rows. It's going to be 43 by 43 inches. And right now I can't really grab it, but I'm working on the baseball bat. So it's gonna, let me put this over my head a little bit. So it's gonna have baseball bats going across, and then a baseball up here. And yeah, so that should be done in a few days. So I'll probably show a little video when that's done of the finished blanket. I'm so discombobulated because I've done this so many times already. And I'm rushing because I don't know when the battery's going to cut off. Ah. I wanted to show off a couple of pictures of the Bambara wrap on the mannequin so you can actually see what it looked like, because I didn't really show it off very well earlier. Got my Diamond and Pearls blocking, almost ready for pictures. I think a few episodes ago I was talking about the Sevrine pullover that I was going to start knitting on. It's got 2 cables, one on each side, going down, and I'm still working on the neck. It's like a 7.5 inch neckline. I just chopped up all the yarn. Oh well. And you fold it over. You can fold it over. And it's supposed to be like really wide after you block it, so I think it's going to be like, uh-oh. Crap! Hold on. That was dumb. Okay. Anyway, you get the picture. It's going to be really wide, and it's supposed to, like, you know, kind of slant off your shoulder. You know what I mean. Anyway. So that's as far as I got, but I'm maybe an inch away from the next part of the neckline, which is going to start the yoke part. I've never done a top down, so the directions already are going to be confusing for me, and they already are confusing for me just because I've never done a top down. And I thought about looking at like other patterns. Like I looked at the Tin Can Knits flax, and I couldn't understand that either. And I've looked at videos, and nothing's clicking. But I'm hoping that once I get to the part where I can start separating all up here and stuff, that it'll just click. And if not, then I'll probably have to like get into some groups and be like, help, I don't know what I'm doing. I can do bottom up all day, not very well, but I understand the construction. Top down, never done, so that'll be interesting. That is for category cable project. Now, I want to point out that even though like most people would probably just try to pick stuff that already automatically make, like, you know, 5 up, down, diagonal, whatever. My brain doesn't work that way. So I'm just making what I feel like making when I feel like making it, because I know eventually I'm going to end up getting, I'm going to get like 4 or 5 bingos off of this thing. And I think starting next month, either next month or in March, they're going to actually start having, Wet Coast Wool is going to have subject thingy in their Ravely page for finished bingos. So I'm sure probably by like March or April I'll have like 2 somewhere. I'll definitely have 1. I might have 2, because like I said, I'll have like 4 or 5 off of here. There's a few things I'm not going to do. I'm not going to steek anything, mostly because I'm trying to use up stash, and I don't have proper wool for it, and I don't want to like try to reinforce anything. And I'm not, let's be honest, I'm not completely ready for that yet. I understand the concept, and I'm not really scared, but I'm kind of scared. Does that make sense? Probably not. What else am I not going to do? Problem yarn. Yeah. I don't have any problem yarn. Like, problem yarn is like things that most people would consider a unique, weird yarn, or something that splits a lot, or just something that you hate but is still in your stash that like just gives you problems. I don't really have that, so I'm probably not going to do that. And for to make something that's been in your queue for ages, I actually had to stick something in a queue because I don't use the queue at all on Ravelry. So I stuck something in there at the beginning of the cal so that I can actually pull from it and make something from it later on in the year. And that way it'll actually be in my queue for ages. That's the only way I can work around that. Yeah, I think that's, yeah, finish a project made with leftovers. I actually do have a scrappy blanket that I was working on. It's crochet, so that wouldn't work on here anyway. But I don't usually have leftovers, as I make it a point to try to use up everything I have. And then I think once I made a small shawl scarf thing with some leftovers, but I don't usually have enough to actually make anything. Yeah. Oh, and then there's one here. I'm knitting a bottom-up sweater using Caron cakes in the white truffle color, and I don't really have anything to show you right now because I've done it 3 times now because my gauge was completely off the first time. Okay, let's talk about that sweater, right? So I measured my gauge, and usually my knitting math is like spot on. And I knit this, and I get like halfway through the first cake, and the thing is like, okay, I'm a big girl, and this is like, woo! So I was like, okay, I don't know what I did there, but obviously I gotta rip this back. So then I overcorrected and did, because my gauge was like 16 stitches for 4 inches. And I was like, oh, well, because of that stretch when I thought I had my gauge right the first time, because I did swatch, but I half-assed swatch. Because I didn't do it in a round. I just did like a little thing. And clearly that was not working in this case. Usually it works for me. It didn't work for me this time. So I was like, okay, well, if my gauge is going to be 16 stitches for 4 inches, let me do 14, and then it'll actually almost form fit, right? So I ended up being overcorrected and went to like here instead of here, right? So I had to rip it out again. So I was like, you know what? Let me just do the math that I had originally, not originally, the second time. So I'm knitting it the 3rd time with the math I got the 2nd time at the 16 stitches for 4 inches, which should get me approximately 48 inches. We'll see if that actually works. I won't know until I actually get about 7 inches up the body. You know, growing pains. I'm just going to consider growing pains because I'm still new to garments, And so once I get all this figured out and I take notes, which I do, I take notes, then I think somewhere down the line, maybe a year or two from now, if I keep doing this, it won't be a problem anymore. I just go bam, bam, bam. That's my hope. Because I do like learning new things, and this is learning a new thing, and it's just the frustrations that come with learning new things. I'm okay with that, as long as I actually get something that I can wear at the end. But I'm not going to do this a fourth time, so it better work this time, or else I'm moving on to something else. Okay, I think that's enough. I think that's all I have. Yeah, like I said, this is like the third or fourth time I've done this. So, but I think that's everything. I have a bunch of new subscribers, so hello. Thank you for subscribing. I appreciate it. Tell your friends, if we get to 100, I will do a big giveaway. I'll probably like find 4 skeins of yarn or something and be like, here you go. You know, we'll see how that goes. But thank you. And yeah, I think that's it. So I will see you later. Bye.